They already have a big painting of Victor Wembanyama on a wall in San Antonio. It's like they knew he was coming. Actually, the Spurs are set up like they've been planning this for years. We always say it matters which team picks you. Unlucky. Stars like LeBron James had to waste years on bad teams like the Cavaliers back in 2003. We can already see the Mavericks might mess up the first 7 seasons of Luka's career. But Victor Wembanyama has a chance to win more championship rings than Michael Jordan. I know that sounds crazy, but once you hear this plan, it's actually possible. But I feel bad for teams like the Sixers or the Suns. I mean, sometimes the number. One pick is Markelle Fultz or DeAndre Ayton. Can you imagine winning that lottery? Congratulations. But the Spurs apparently only win amazing MVP players like David Robinson or Tim Duncan. Their worst ever season was 1997 with 20 wins, and they got Tim Duncan. Second worst season had 21 wins, and they got David Robinson. Now, their third worst season gets them Victor Wembanyama. How is that even real? Most teams go years with terrible basketball, like the Kings who missed the playoffs for 16 seasons and never got a player close to this good. But the Spurs missed the playoffs for 4 years, which was a record for them. The NBA team closest to them is Houston. Can you imagine how mad Rockets fans are? They're like the less successful little brother who's like, of course they won. I never get anything. The second pick will be made by them. Oh, but Wemby is so lucky he didn't go to Houston. San Antonio has a plan for their second championship run. But first, today's video is sponsored by Sorare, and I'm going to set up my Sorare lineup for the conference finals in a minute. But I want to thank all of you who have joined my private NBA Sorare League. It's free to sign up. We have over 2,000 members. If you click the link in the description, you get 20 free common cards also when you sign up. But last week, I ended up around 56,000th place. Let's see if we can do better. I can report that I have swapped my CP3 card for first as Jalen Brown. Malcolm Brogdon, that is my CP3 replacement. I am very happy with that. I chose between him and Aaron Gordon. Then we're gonna go Dennis Schroeder, Caleb Martin, and Duncan Robinson, who honestly, I'm gonna swap Duncan Robinson as soon as I can, but this is my strongest lineup. You can hop into Sorare and set your lineup for the conference finals. It's absolutely free. It is so much fun to play. It is my favorite way to play fantasy basketball. So click the link in the description to sign up for my private league and set your lineup for the conference finals. Thanks again to Sorare. It all started when Kawhi left for Toronto. It was a horrible moment losing a finals MVP, but if that never happened, they would be trying to build around Abercon Star like the Clippers do, and Wembanyama would be somewhere else. Then they traded DeJounte Murray, and I said the moment that happened, that was a dumb trade for Atlanta. But now it's even worse. The Spurs basically gave DeJounte away for 3 picks from the Hawks that have no protection, and that helped them. Get Victor Wembanyama? If DeJounte was on the Spurs last year, they would have won more games and not had the number 1 pick. It was the perfect trade. But this is a look at all the stuff San Antonio has to build around Wemby, all their own first-round picks, those 3 picks from Atlanta, which includes a pick swap, 3 from separate trades with the Hornets, Raptors, and Bulls, plus enough. Salary cap space for a max superstar free agent. So what will they do now? Wembanyama made it perfectly clear last night. I'm trying to win the ring ASAP, so be ready. Oh, trying to win a ring as soon as possible, huh? Does that mean the Spurs will trade for Damian Lillard? Maybe Trae Young? No, their plan is so much bigger than that. Right now, no one on the Spurs can get in Wemby's way. They just traded away veteran center Jakob, and there's no young center he's gonna fight for minutes with, like a James Wiseman. They have Keldon Johnson, who averaged 26 points a game after Christmas and had 7 30-point games last year. Jeremy Sochan is a perfect role player who's a wing that can make an impact without needing the ball. Devin Vassell is a great shooter. Malachi Branham showed some good signs. I think Wemby's rookie year will be all about making those other guys look good for a future trade. Wemby could immediately make them a playoff team because of his defense. He was actually known as a defensive player until recently. He became a big prospect in the 2019 European Championships when he averaged just 9 points but 5 blocks a game. Then in 2021, he won the French League block title and led the Euro League in blocks at 18 years old. But in 2022, everything changed. Wemby went from the #1 pick to the best prospect since LeBron by going to another team to work on his offense. He became a better scorer on Metropolitans with pull-up shots and moves near the basket. He's also a shot creator and has an amazingly tight handle for a guy who's 7'4" in shoes. But when he played against the G League Ignite, Wemby loved the spotlight against Scoot Henderson. 37 points in Game 1, 36 points in Game 2. The highlights are crazy, but they also hide his problems. Another reason the Spurs are going to wait on this plan is Wemby's got some work to do. At just 230 pounds, he does get pushed around by bigger players in France. It's a big step up in the NBA. His passes get stolen right now way too much because other players can see what he's about to do. And the highlights make it look like he's a Kevin Durant level shooter, but he's more like Giannis. He hit about 32% of his jump shots. Not much better on catch and shoot threes, and 20% on dribble threes. That is not good. I'm not saying he's going to be a bad player, of course, that there's room for improvement. But the good news is Wemby's got great shooting form to build on. And on his last team, he was allowed to be taking these bad shots, which led to more misses. But the Spurs are the perfect team to help him get better, which will happen. That is why the first year is not for a big trade, but when Wemby's ready, it will happen. A recent secret NBA poll asked players which coach other than your own would you like to play for. Greg Popovich won by a lot, which is crazy because the Spurs hadn't been to the playoffs in years. I mean, it made sense for them to say Pop when the team was competing for titles. Players are like, yeah, I want to go there and win a ring. But this is about more than that. Players love Pop, but now the free agent pitch is a lot more attractive with Wembanyama. I think the dream target could be Luka Doncic. He'll be in a position to demand a trade 2 years from now, which is perfect timing for Wemby to grow. You may think the Mavs would never do a deal with San Antonio. They might not have a choice. He could demand to go there like AD did with the Lakers. I mean, New Orleans hated the idea of AD being in LA, but eventually they had to do the trade. Luka and Wemby would be a perfect fit on the court. Wemby's defense helps with Luka's bad habits, and Wembanyama could still be on a cheap contract, allowing them to have depth. But that 2025 offseason is crazy for free agents. Look at the superstar names available that summer. The Spurs could go for any one or two of these guys. But do not believe the people who say, oh, that's not how the Spurs do things. They don't make big trades. That's wrong. They are not going to use all these picks they have for themselves. They know how lucky you have to get in the draft. That would be a path to losing 4 years and only winning if you got lucky. No. The Spurs will get a big free agent or make a trade if it's the right timing and the right price. The one thing that could mess up all of this is injuries. But Wemby doesn't have a history of foot or knee problems like other big men. The Spurs give him the best chance to live up to the hype because they have a great team culture and all the right stuff to build around him. I really hope this works out because the expectations are crazy. I mean, at this point, it's like, oh, no pressure, Wemby. Either be the best player since LeBron or you're a complete failure. But he does seem ready for it because just like David, Robinson, and Tim Duncan before him, Wemby sounds mature and professional. We see how bad being immature can hurt a player, like with Morant. But Wemby just feels like the next Spurs championship run. But speaking of we just heard from the commissioner, Adam Silver. He said the suspension for Ye will be serious. So what is next for Morant? Check it out.